this guy's t-shirt. Save the planet. It's the only one with beer. Yeah, there you go. Hey everyone, welcome to Eden Reforestation Project's vlog. I greatly appreciate your likes, your shares, your comments, and just ask you to keep it up and make sure you sign up. So today we're heading to Mozambique, which is located in Southeast Africa. With me are David and Patricia Voss, who were instrumental in providing the resources necessary to make all this possible. And these early trips are really important because we've got to make sure that the foundations are properly established so that we'll see success in the years to come. I'm here in Maputo, Mozambique. It's about 9 o'clock and we're supposed to catch a ferry over there to take us across the channel to one of the option planting sites. But as is almost always the case in Africa, things don't go according to plan. Hey, here with David and Patricia Voss. We are working together to open Mozambique. David's a big thinker. A couple of days ago, he challenged me and Eden to stop thinking about billions of trees, start thinking about 1 trillion. And as the day ended, we're walking back to our tents, and I specifically asked him not to raise the number.
We promise.
We're stopping at 1 trillion. That's gotta be it.
The math, and
a trillion is enough. I'm pretty amazed at how fast we went from incredibly dense population in Maputo to within about 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, we got into a very remote area. So all around me is radically degraded mangrove area near Maputo, the capital, surrounded by this denuded, devastated area that should be covered in mangroves. So Mozambique is a former Portuguese colony, and shortly after they gained independence, they entered into a really long, brutal civil war. And the results of that civil war endure to this day. About 60% of the population living below the poverty line. Unemployment is in the 50 percentile, with underemployment adding another 20 to 25%. And of course, during the Civil War, in order to clear the land so the rebels couldn't hide, they burned the country to the ground in many places. So here's a secondary growth of Avicennia marina. Sorry to be geeking out on you, but I'm looking for more than one species, and so far it's a monospecies forest. What's kind of interesting is there are a lot of seedlings that we could do bare root transfer back in there. There's a great example of bare root, and this absolutely will survive. There's no reason to have this level of density in an area like this when you've got massive areas like that that need to be restored. So I was really pleased to have David and Patricia on the trip. But when David mentioned 1 trillion trees, that the world needs 1 trillion trees to be planted between now and 2050, dude, you freaked me out. Bottom line, though, is we are looking for project nations and specific project sites that have large capacity. We want each site to have the capacity for 100 million, 200 million trees. So when it comes time to considering the sites, the planting sites for Mozambique, we look for basically three things. One is massive areas of denuded land that can handle 100 million, 200 million or more trees. And then, of course, a seed source relatively nearby that would provide the resource in that area to restore the land. And then, of course, a workforce ready to get involved and get their hands dirty and get the job done. There's Abyssinia marina everywhere. Have yet to see a propagule for any of the other species, but good possibilities. A lot of mangroves here that would supply the seed source, and it's just a matter of looking at what we got. Here's good news. There's a little bit of rhizopora mixed in with all this Abyssinia marina. So we do have diversity. We've just got to find large enough to have their own propagules. I'm sure there's more. We'll find them. David Boss, mangrove restoration entrepreneur extraordinaire, is literally putting in the first mangrove trees here in Mozambique in about 5 years. All of this is going to be covered, and it's going to be an amazing place once again. But you got to start with one and follow it up with millions. So we're in the process of exploring, and there's this little fishing camp here with these guys, and we're going to give them a chat. What's his name? Lucas. Okay. How's the fishing here?
Como está? Como vocês pescam muito peixe?
Rede. Pescamos a rede.
Pescam muito?
Não lá muito.
There is no much fish.
So we spent quite a bit of time with Lucas, and there are a lot of fishing boats, and he owns one. But at the end of the day, he has very little, if anything, to show for all of his efforts. So we explained to Lucas what we do, and then ask him, do you want a job planting trees with Eden?
Yes, he will love a lot.
Good, and does he have 100 friends that would like to do it as well?
Por enquanto, não tem mais procurando, informando.
If we tell the neighbors, they would love to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey everybody, come on over. So one of the root causes of extreme poverty is actually something called identity poverty, where people have a sense of hopelessness that leads them to not even want to try. Thankfully, that's not the case in Mozambique. They are ready to work, they want a job, they want the dignity of employment. Wherever we would go, people would literally run up to us and ask for a job. And in the very first month of planting operations in Mozambique, we have already seen over 80,000 trees planted by one startup team. And we know we can multiply that. We know we can spread it across the nation. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, share, comment, like, and let's work together to move towards that crazy milestone of 1 trillion trees planted by 2050.